Very good evening once again and welcome to the second edition of News Tonight. Let's start with a look at the top stories. We now have the right to silence. Police releases photographs of Welcome to News Tonight. It's me, Michael Jordan Lukomwa, with Elizabeth Nakakoni, our sign language interpreter. Police said they have arrested the actual assailants who attempted to assassinate General Edward Katumba Wamala, but unfortunately the target took his daughter, Brenda Nantongo, and his driver, who lost their lives in the mix. According to the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Major General Paul Lokech, the CCTV camera footage aided the arrests.
Deputy Inspector General of Police, Major General Paul Lokech, says police investigators have been having sleepless nights and busy days since the failed assassination of General Katumba Wamala on 1st June. After analyzing the CCTV camera footage combined with other leads, police says they have finally arrested the executors of the failed assassination.
Shooters on the 1st June of General Katumba and subsequently killing his loved daughter and the driver have been got.
According to Lokech, the suspects arrested performed different roles during the assassination attempt, and Major General Lokech has linked the groups to the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF, a Ugandan rebel outfit based in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The one who shot, his nickname is Master, with his real names Hussein Wahabru Wama, was shot dead by police during the arrest.
The team zeroed on Master. We got Master. And he was trying to fight my forces. And we have put Master out of action.
Some of the suspects were the ones riding the motorcycle during the botched assassination, and others kept the gun after the failed assassination.
We have also arrested another character called Amin, that they took the gun to his place.
On the question of who are the earlier suspects already in court, police says those were the planners of the assassination.
That we took to cells after our collaborations of technical intelligence and surveillance. They were in the planning cell of the assassination.
General Katumba Wamala was shot at on 1st June this year. He survived the gunshots, but the driver and the daughter instead died on spot. Jane Ramjsha, Philippa Guta, UBC News.
Tonight, addressing the welfare and promoting the health of soldiers is one of the issues that has been emphasized for effective national service. The new commander for the UPDF Land Forces, Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, underscores the need to enhance combat capabilities. He made the remarks while receiving office of the command of the Land Forces of the UPDF from General Peter Ailwelu.
Arriving for the scheduled event at the Bombo General Defense Land Forces headquarters was Chief of Defense Forces, General Wilson Mbadi. He was here to officiate at the handover of the newly appointed command for UPDF Land Forces. And from one commander of the UPDF to another, General Peter Ailwelu handed over the mantle to Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba.
The threats might have changed, but the goal of defending the independence and sovereignty of the motherland remains the same. This new team shall endeavor to build the capabilities of the land forces to meet those new threats.
As he commits to working closely with the other security services for purposes of Uganda's stability, he intends to focus on, among other priorities, enhancing combat capabilities.
Intensifying the political education of our officers and men. I know this has been going on, and I thank the CPC for the work he has done, but we shall seek to do even more. I look forward to working with everyone in land forces in achieving these goals. I look forward to working with everyone in the UPDF.
In agreement with him was Chief of Defense Forces, General Wilson Mbadi. He emphasized the need to maintain Uganda's stability.
A soldier without political education is a potential criminal. Let's make our contribution as a team. Like Mzee Nyerere said, that it can be done. You play your part.
The ceremony also saw other officers hand and take over, including Chief of Staff and Deputy Commander, Land Forces.
When we were at school, especially high school, they used to teach us, the higher you go, the cooler it becomes. But again, in the military, the higher you go, the hotter it becomes. I'm not saying I'm withdrawing because of the heat. Instead, I'm happy and determined to face the heat.
The change of command at the UPDF's Land Force headquarters in Bombo follows recent changes in the army made by the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. This saw General Wilson Mbadi elevated to CDF, Lieutenant General Peter Elwelu to Deputy CDF, and Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba as Commander Land Forces, among others. Henry Okurut, UBC.
The 40-panel Parliamentary Oversight Committee on COVID-19 pandemic has summoned the Ministry of Health officials led by Dr. Ruth Aceng, and top on agenda in the discussion will be in the COVID-19 vaccination to over 800 Ugandans, which is claimed to have been fake.
The Parliamentary Oversight Committee on COVID-19, led by MP Abdu Katuntu, starts its work this week. The fake vaccination allegations to over 800 Ugandans have started their work, and the Minister for Health, Dr. Ruth Aceng, will be the first to be interrogated.
Everything related or incidental to COVID, we shall interrogate it. In a situation like this, we have so many people of bad manners who like to take advantage of a bad situation, a crisis, to make money or to enrich themselves, both immorally and unlawfully. We also want to find out if a situation like that has arisen, what has government done to that particular health unit where counterfeit drugs were being injected to our people, because that tantamount to murder.
It is a shame really to the country that we can have fake vaccination, that you have fake, that people are going around selling, people are going around the country vaccinating our people with the wrong vaccinations. But whereas it is a shame, it is not surprising. We have had ghost soldiers.
The members of parliament have also urged President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and other arms of government to investigate the racket behind this scam and be prosecuted before the courts of law.
it's a call upon for the president, since one of the activities he took oath about to protect Ugandans and their property. Therefore, this is the first #1 insecurity to Ugandans, where we expect the president to come up with a louder voice to issue an ultimatum to all ministries, including the Uganda National Bureau of Standards, to take action to find out whether they are real waters or there were other chemicals injected into Ugandans. And if there were just mere waters, what were the major intentions of such personnel using such waters?
The members are now worried that this kind of habit will affect the progress of fighting COVID-19 in the country.
Before we go to that, we think we need to investigate and find out the crux of the matter, how true it is. And if it is true, then we can exercise our power to hold people responsible.
The fake vaccination was administered to different companies around Kampala at a range of 100,000 shillings to 200,000 shillings per individual. The State House Health Monitoring Unit intervened after a tip-off from a whistleblower. Philip Aguta, UBC News in Kampala.
A section of members of parliament want government to double the 100,000 shillings relief aid it intends to give to those affected by the COVID-19 lockdown. The revelations were made at a press conference held by the shadow cabinet at parliament this morning, among other issues to streamline the lockdown. Bernard Iga was at parliament.
Government this week started registering the expanded 16 identified vulnerable groups eligible to receive shillings 100,000 COVID-19 relief cash, whose disbursement is expected to start within the next 2 weeks. Cabinet on Monday resolved that registration of beneficiaries will be conducted by officials of Uganda Bureau of Statistics and town clerks. In Zani, Kampala suburb, the head of the ghetto in Kampala, Nicholas Ategeka, also known as Ghetto King, thanked government for thinking about them during this period. He urged colleagues to register when approached. At a press conference held at Uganda Media Center on Tuesday, Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, Among Betty, said once the survey is completed, the names will be displayed in various villages to ensure people who fall in those categories do not miss out.
So in your village or wherever you are, you will receive somebody within the next, because aggregation of data, update of register, display of register, all is supposed to be undertaken between 30th to 4th of July.
However, a section of members of parliament want government to double the 100,000 shillings relief aid and also consider vulnerable groups not in towns or municipalities.
Also, the proposed 100,000 shillings is not adequate for an average household. We propose this amount to be doubled. We also think it should be doubled by suppressing the State House budget, since the President no longer has many movements.
The National Population and Housing Census indicates that 27% of the households are in urban areas. However, the remaining 73% is in the rural areas. This indicates that there are so many people in the rural areas that are not going to receive the relief aid that is needed.
Addressing the media at Parliament Thursday morning, Mityana Woman Member of Parliament Joyce Bagala and other members of the Shadow Cabinet asked the Speaker to recall the House and deliberate on the COVID-19 management strategy.
We emphasize and we demand that the Speaker of Parliament recall the parliamentary sittings immediately. The Minister stated clearly that by the 6th of this month, they will start giving out money to the populations. Without the parliamentary blessings, without the parliamentary discussion.
Others think that government should consider vaccinating all Ugandans for business to fully return to normal and to get rid of lockdowns.
When are they going to immunize everyone? At least 10 to 20 million people, such that work goes back to normal. That's all we need government to do. We don't mind whether they have given us the 20,000 per person for the 42 days. That's now irrelevant. We have learned to survive without you. We have learned. For 11, 12 days, we have been out of, you have not given us anything, and we are not complaining. So we are saying, can we live with the disease for the next 20 days? But be sure that you've immunized everyone. And after immunizing everyone, we are going back to normal.
Bernard Higa, UBC News.
Kampala has entered the 4th day of the second phase of COVID-19 mass vaccination exercise, registering a low turnout again, as opposed to the huge influx that stormed vaccination centers on Monday and other days. As a reporter tells in this story, medical workers conducting the exercise have also portioned the blame of low turnout on security forces that have mounted roadblocks that have stopped Ugandans and medical practitioners to access the vaccination centers.
The COVID-19 vaccination exercise continues across the country. However, different vaccination centers we visited in Kampala showed a significant decline in the turn of those who would be eligible to acquire the second jab of the AstraZeneca vaccine. According to medical workers, the significant decline has been caused partly by presidential directives on restrictions of movement that has seen many medics failing to make breakthrough in the mounted roadblocks to the vaccination centers.
We are sorry. Somehow there are some interferences, especially on the time of start. Most cases, our health workers reach here a bit late, like 8:30 to 9. That's when the services start at peak, and the reason we all know, there are a lot of interferences on the way, and to an extent that today most of our staff we arrested on the way, despite them showing even their IDs, despite showing some other documents that we attached for them. They could generate all those documents and put them aside. So some of the clinics were highly affected. So I am also appealing, I'm using this opportunity to cry to the security personnel that if someone pleads to you that I'm a healthy worker, is able to show you an ID, another letter, there is a phone contact of a supervisor, kindly listen to them. Otherwise, the community needs us.
However, the unconfirmed reports also indicate that the numbers of those supposed to take the second jab seems to be over. Hence, the need for the Ministry of Health to revisit its earlier decision to also allow those who would like to take the first jab in Kampala metropolitan area, where the low turn-up is being witnessed. According to the Ministry of Health guidelines on COVID-19, priority for vaccination has been given to those receiving the first jab and going for the second jab, those beyond 50 years, those with chronic diseases, among others.
According to the guidelines that we received, we are only to immunize people who are getting second doses. So the first day, we had everybody come for the vaccine. And then we had to sort them. We talked to them, though it was very painful because some of them suffered a lot, walking on foot from wherever to come for the vaccine. And it was unfortunate that we couldn't offer the service.
Medical workers, however, have appealed to security officers manning different roadblocks to allow people move once they show evidence of vaccination cards. Those who managed to reach vaccination centers said they walk long distances.
Tambuza bigere nali nkolera wano mu town ne batusiba jakedi bazisiba ntambudde bigere okujja.
Residents of Mwelo sub-county in Tororo district have carried out a peaceful demonstration accusing police attached to Molanda police station of attacking them in their respective homes last night as they enforced the presidential directive on curfew. A number of residents lost their property, ranging from doors to foodstuff, and over 7 people were arrested. In this report, the head of security in Tororo district says they are investigating the matter.
Armed with placards written, "Why arrest us in our homes? Does curfew apply in people's homes? Do animals also have curfew?" Among others, residents of Mwelo sub-county in Tororo moved door to door with journalists showing them what transpired last night when police allegedly attacked them while enforcing the curfew presidential directive. And in some of the homes visited, broken doors coupled with scattered foodstuffs stepped on is what tells the alleged battle between police and communities. Holding their placards, the group then proceeded to the police post in Busia Trading Center, demanding for explanation about the alleged police brutal action. However, upon getting wind of information that residents were planning to storm, the police deserted their offices.
They went and parked their vehicle there. The vehicle had no light, so they started moving within people's home. So when they get you out, they ask you, if this is your home, what are you still doing out? We have animals which are sleeping outside, so you cannot just sleep inside and you leave your animal.
I want the government to direct us where we're supposed to be, because me, I was at home. Now I was leaving home, again going to the bush, where we're supposed to be. If I'm at my home, and even make me leave my home to go to the bush.
And to make matters worse all, they come with intention to arrest people, to take the money, but they don't follow the presidential advice to the local population that when you made a mistake, you pay the money through the bank, but they make it as their personal benefit.
In the confrontation between security and the locals, this 85-year-old lady lost her only god. She equally suspects police was behind the disappearance.
My mother, they went with their vehicle and scrapped the goat, and the goat is taken. We don't know by them or because now my mother was crying the whole night, a lady of 94 years.
But according to the district security head, the allegations are under investigations.
We have just got this information today, and we have set a team to go and investigate this matter, and we are going to summon them in our district task force meeting to see how we can intervene. But on the HE's directive, there is no any directive of beating, caning, demolishing people, the things at home. It's not allowed, and we are going to set a team to see how we can investigate this matter. If it is a genuine, clear information, we are going to send them to police, they write a statement. If it is true, we shall send them to court. And this is not good. We are fighting corona with the wananchi. The only solution is to sensitize them, to mobilize them, to see how we can prevent this virus.
In the process, over 7 people were arrested by police and detained at Mulanda police station.
Patients in Kayunga Hospital have fled the hospital in fear of catching coronavirus following a set-up of a COVID-19 treatment center to enhance service delivery in the area. Patients abandoned the health facility on receiving information that the Ministry of Health planned to turn the hospital into a full isolation and treatment center for COVID-19. The Deputy Health Officer Kayunga District, Dr. Oliver Bacchus Businje, admits that patients fled the health facility, but they are trying to normalize the situation there. However, they have patients left at the hospital apparently. The hospital administration is working hand in hand with local authorities to sensitize people on the increase of COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, Businje says the District General Hospital lacks equipment for especially handling COVID-19 related issues.
But we have patients in the wards. We had definitely to go on the air and avert the rumor, we've not had any so many cases here. We've just had a few, even those 90, they are just few patients like our staffs with mild, or we can call it moderate cases, because we cannot handle the severe critically ill patients. Those ones we refer. But the moderate cases, they are the ones that we've been handling here. So you get cured and go home, like any other facility. Also the minister with their team, and they came at least today. They sent us a team, they've toured, we've discussed, and we have hope that going forward, we shall possibly have a treatment center here to help our people here in Kayonga and elsewhere. Because where COVID is, it is not specific to a region, neither is it specific to a district.
Ministry of Relief and Disaster Preparedness has disbursed 50 million Uganda shillings to Bundibujo District COVID-19 Task Force to conduct mass sensitization about the COVID-19 pandemic. The line Minister for Disaster, Esther Anyuka, revealed that this is the only remedy through which they are going to manage handling asylum seekers from the Democratic Republic of Congo entering Uganda through the porous border points and passing a risk of infecting host communities with the deadly Ebola and coronavirus.
The skyrocketing influx of asylum seekers from volatile Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo entering Uganda through Ntoroko and Bundibujo districts is caused by a Ugandan-based rebel group in DRC, the ADF, that has maimed, killed many and left homesteads touched to the ground through the earth scorch policy. However, the influx of vulnerable Congolese comprised of women, the young ones and the elderly is worrying leaders in Uganda.
Those people have been tested and some of them have tested positive. It is really the point to worry about.
Bubukwanga Transit Center in Bundibujo district is one of the major refugee settlement camps, apparently hosting over 2,000 war victims, but resources to cater for them are still a mere drop on an ink in an ocean, according to responsible authorities.
We still have a challenge because there are some refugees who are still in our communities. Now, I want to appeal to you agencies to ensure that these people are brought from there to this camp.
With the hellish life in the camp, the asylum seekers of Congolese origin are left with no option but to flee the camp to host communities in search of casual labor on private farms where they are given small wages to cater for their families.
And our people were taking advantage of that cheap labor, so they were taking them on as domestic workers. Others were working on people's shambas.
While independent humanitarian analysts have described the situation here as hard life in a wilderness, the Uganda government is focusing much on health to protect both its national and the Congolese asylum seekers. Esther Anyakun is Uganda's Minister for Disaster on her first tour of duty to Bubukwang Transit Settlement Camp. She revealed that the Ugandan government had dispatched 50 million Ugandan shillings to Bundibujo District Task Force for mass sensitization against the novel COVID-19 virus.
The government of Uganda is releasing funds for the district task force teams to ensure that sensitization is ongoing in the districts up to the LC level.
As life gets harder to the Congolese asylum seekers at Kanara Town Council is another point where internally displaced Ugandans by the increasing waters of Lake Albert are stationed like the Congolese in their need. They also plead to relocate them to safer places. Many of these IDPs have lost their homesteads and properties to water. However, in the interim, the Uganda government had proposed to carve out part of Toro Semoliki Wildlife Reserve to the internally displaced persons for resettlement. However, the plans have since remained a dream on paper.
They didn't have burial land. It has been an outstanding concern but that one was handled. They have 10 acres for burial.
The infection rate for COVID-19 in Bundibujo stands at 30%. So far, 40 asylum seekers have tested positive of COVID-19 and only 5 are under institutional quarantine, while others are still in community.
Palisa district registered 262 positive COVID-19 cases, with 30 of these being health workers and 13 people have succumbed to the virus already. The district health officer, Dr. Mulekwa Godfrey, attributes the increase in the cases to lack of personal protective equipment.
The local and political leaders of Palisa district are calling on government to give urgent attention to the district because of the increasing cases of people getting infected with COVID-19. At the moment, Palisa has 262 positive cases of COVID-19 and 13 deaths. Palisa district lies in North Bukedia that comprises of Butebo, Kibuku and Budaka. During the meeting with the COVID-19 task force, the district health officer, Dr. Mulekwa Godfrey, said 30 of the healthy workers contracted the virus.
You find a burial team just simply putting on a cavera and with a surgical mask, even if we tell them, we advise them to double. But you know, these are not adequate. And most of the members who have been on the district LSA rapid response team, they are grappling with the virus, either directly through their children or indirectly.
According to Dr. Mulekwa, North Bukedia did not receive an ambulance from government last year during the first wave of COVID-19, which has affected the work of the surveillance team.
We did not receive or benefit from those ambulances that the ministry was distributing. So what we do when we are referring these cases, we refer them using our available ambulance, which does not have oxygen.
The meeting was also attended by the Member of Parliament from the district, who confirmed that COVID-19 prevalence in Palisa needs urgent attention from the government. The MP alerted the spike of COVID-19 cases in the district to failure by the local authorities to limit the numbers.
Let the LOC call the security very fast at the sub-county, and at least when our people see even one policeman or two, they will really see that these people are serious.
In the first COVID-19 immunization exercise, the district managed to vaccinate 4,420 people, but in the second phase of the vaccination, the district only received 720 doses, which Dr. Mulekwa says are not enough for the people eligible for their second dose.
So when we look at the system, there are over 2,500 people who are now eligible. So we wanted really the people to understand that, you know, these doses are limited and they are going to cater for this category of people.
Given the financial constraints by the district COVID task force, the 5 MPs from this district contributed 10 million Ugandan shillings cash and pledged to solicit for more funding from government and other sources.
Members, on behalf of the committee, have received the 10 million and I hand over to the accounting officer.
As the financial year 2020-2021 draws to an end, URA has put measures in place to facilitate taxpayers to file their returns and pay taxes within the set deadline. All our offices across the country and the URA Contact Center shall remain open to provide extra support to our esteemed taxpayers. Additionally, we have extended our contact center service hours from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Friday and from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturdays and public holidays. In light of the COVID-19 risks, we encourage taxpayers to reach us through our improved contact center and other online platforms instead of making physical visits to our offices. For online support, please reach us through our toll-free lines 0800 117 000 or 0800 217 000. Email services@ura.go.ug. Website ura.go.ug. Social media: Facebook, URA page, Twitter @URA Uganda. URA Customs Help Tool, help.ura.go.ug/login. URA appreciates all taxpayers who have duly fulfilled their obligations. Stay safe and let us all observe the standard operating procedures to prevent further spread of the COVID-19 virus. Stay safe as we develop Uganda together.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
We've cut and reduced our MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Central Points when you deposit, send, and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go, MTN.
COVID-19, chija kugwa. If we get vaccinated now, observe social distancing, wear a mask properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly. Together we can defeat this enemy.
In efforts to improve quality assurance and Uganda's competitiveness as a tourist destination, Uganda Tourism Board is set to undertake a nationwide grading and classification exercise of hotel and accommodation facilities. As a member of the East African community, Uganda subscribes to the East African Grading and Classification Criteria, a system denoted by stars ranging from 1 to 5. The grading and classification exercise will be crowned by the awarding of star ratings to facilities found compliant to the EAC minimum standards. This is therefore a call to all accommodation and facility owners and managers to register and get licensed by UTB as a requirement and get ready for participation. For more information, visit www.utb.go.ug or email qualityassurance@utb.go.ug for details. Uganda Tourism Board, promoting tourism together.
Thank you so much for watching UBC News Tonight. The security situation in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo is tragic. The situation has led to many Congolese fleeing to neighboring Uganda for safety of their lives. A stringer based in Beni said that the horror going on in Ituri, an area in Congo, where Ugandan-based rebel group in the Congo, the ADF, is butchering Congolese, setting their homesteads on fire, save for those who have managed to flee to Uganda as asylum seekers. The estimated numbers of those killed in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, Ituri region, is not known, since the International Committee of the Red Cross can easily access the volatile region. However, the DRC government forces are engaging the fearless battles with the ADF rebels.
Batoto tapotea, batu tavunjika bule.
Okay, now, sir, first of all, your name and the location on where you are.
Okay, I'm called Paluku Siwako Pole. I'm talking from Beni town in DRC.
In DRC. So, yes, how is the situation? We do understand that things are getting bad in Congo. What exactly is happening?
The situation is more than worse. It is very, very extra bad. ADF Nalu is killing people.
Last week, we have been hearing it in Mombasa and Commander, where they came and killed people, especially in a place called the Trois Antennes, or then also Office and Manzobe. They killed many civilians. And then last Sunday, we have been shocked when in the morning, we had to have a confirmation of our kids in the Catholic Church. And the two women who works there early morning, they went to organize where people are going to sit. Just by opening the door of the church of Butili, Catholic Church, direct a bomb explodes and wounded them seriously. So we escaped by chance because our children have been going to be confirmed by the priest that day, but good enough God protected us, and the bomb explodes before all the kids come, including the church service have not started. The second bomb explodes at Le Troc. Le Troc, it is a place where many people come and sit, and that place was, there is even a mosque by near. So the one who have been transporting that bomb came to fix it so that it explodes and kill many people. He did a mistake, we think so, and the bomb burst and himself died. Police came and investigated with the army, and they found that he was a senior officer of ADF called Obia Abdallah.
Okay.
He's known by the security service. Because the spokesman of the army talks about his name that even have been following him. Then the third bomb also explodes again that same Sunday evening. That also it did not make it make just a material damage, but the people have been not there.
About how many people so far you think could have died? Are you in a position to estimate how many could have died so far in the incidences?
That evidence of the bomb, there was only that man who had been transporting the bomb, plus two women who got injured. But tonight of today, ADF came at 3 kilometers from the roundabout of Beni. That is in Paida, Ruangoma, where they killed even some years ago, 327 people. They came at night again, they killed the people in Ruangoma. Men and women killed completely by panga. So far in this morning, we have been collecting already 11 dead bodies, which are the mortuary.
And I be ready to say it is mass killing. They're simply killing whoever they find about on the road.
Exactly. So because today, it is a long time. You cannot go even in a garden. You will find the kidnapped, either dead. If you go to even at night in your own home, you cannot survive because those one who have been in Ruangoma, they have been killed inside of their house.
UBC News Tonight. That is our senior reporter here, Henry Baguma, talking to someone in the areas of Uganda and Congo border areas, giving a picture of what exactly is happening that side, and we'll keep you posted through those channels and others. State Minister for Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Esther Anyakun, told the people of Kasese that apparently the government is overwhelmed with the numbers of COVID-19 patients in all its major referral hospitals. She appealed to the local leaders in Kasese to set up community mobilization committees to sensitize the people on how to avoid the spread of the pandemic.
The State Minister for Relief, Disaster Preparedness, Esther Anyakun, has expressed the need for local council one chairpersons and village team to sensitize communities in their jurisdiction on how to prevent COVID-19 pandemic and assured them of government support.
Want the structures from the villages to get involved. They be able to observe the SOPs at the village level, making sure that people are keeping distance, they're wearing masks, and they're also washing their hands. And VHTs will be getting the money for the whole quarter, 100,000 per day. They are supposed to work with the health team on issues of surveillance to be able to report whenever they get to see this kind of issues in the villages. So
she revealed that government is now stretched with the increasing number of COVID-19 patients, which needs to be addressed by leaders.
Take the issues of COVID very, very seriously, plus the security. Because if we don't do it from here, the ministry and government is already overwhelmed.
We are aware of that.
Overwhelmed to an extent that you cannot even blame anyone now. So we have all the leaders and the service deliverers should take the responsibility of fighting this pandemic.
Anyakun expressed concern about the burnt health facility in Kasese and promised the people that government under the disaster docket will rebuild the maternity ward that was burnt to ashes.
I need the report, and I want to give you my commitment that I'm going to follow up to make sure that we have a replacement. We need a new block like this one, totally new block for the women, because this cannot be called a health center. Cell Center 3.
Kabogo Florence, the Kasese district woman representative, appealed to government to secure an ambulance for pregnant mothers who are referred to other health facilities when their labor complications are due.
Some kind of isolated from it is actually in isolation. And due to the terrain of this area, some women, expecting women, come here when they are very tired. And in case one gets any difficulty in giving birth, we need a vehicle that can rush her to another facility.
Government has been urged to prioritize people living with disabilities while giving relief during this lockdown period. The field officer to Tunaweza Foundation, Dorcas Kabahenda, made the appeal, calling during a field tour of people living with disabilities in the slum areas of Kampala ahead of the much-anticipated government mobile money transfer disbursement to vulnerable people surviving during the lockdown.
The 42-day lockdown seems to have hit people living with disabilities harder, with majority lacking support. In this regard, Tunaweza Foundation Uganda, in partnership with UN Women, has made a field trip to ascertain the conditions of people living with disabilities in Kampala slums.
So we have decided right now to help the most vulnerable among our people, 40 of them right now, because we won't wait for them to die during the COVID-19 period, and then we come back to train them on other things like education or training them to give this thing. That's why we are running out to give the little we can to these people. We are supporting them with little money and little food that can sustain them during this period of COVID-19.
Nachibuka Diana, an albino and a mother of 3, is one of the mothers struggling in this lockdown period. She's a tomato seller and says ever since the lockdown took effect, she has been struggling to feed her family.
Lockdown yasooka yatuyisa bubi nga n'ekyokulya tetuyina. Ate nga abamu tuli balwadde tulina ebituluma. Nakati essaawa eno wenjogerera nina ebinnuma. Ate bangenze ne baŋŋamba nti nina COVID kyesikakasa kuba tebankebedde. Naye nga nabadde ngenze mu ddwaliro nga nina ebirala ebinnuma. Essaawa eno ndi ku treatment naye sina yadde n'ekikumi ekigula eddagala. Kaakati n'omusajja musanze bamukutte ngera bodaboda bagikutte.
The husband is a boda rider surviving on small handouts. Now, ever since the president restricted boda bikes to only carry luggage from markets.
We looked out for this because as part of our mission as Tunaweza is to provide equality. We are looking at a situation where the world will be a situation. We look out and see how to uplift them.
And managed to buy matoke for her 3 children to eat. However, the coming of Tunaweza Foundation Uganda in partnership with UN Women was a major boost in the survival of her family. Dorcas Kabahenda, a field officer to Tunaweza Foundation Uganda, says government should prioritize people living with disabilities while giving relief in this lockdown.
Let the government have this task force, a special task force, that for it is specifically going to look down into the persons with disabilities, more especially mothers with disabilities and mothers who are having children with disabilities. Because in this situation, persons with disabilities become more vulnerable. Their disability is added by the situation that is going on, and it makes them to become very, very multiple vulnerable.
Amarin Pamu, a member of Tunaweza Foundation, says they partnered with UN Women because there is a need to support people living with disabilities in this period. The unprivileged Sauya has also benefited from Tunaweza Foundation. Sauya suffered a stroke.
The COVID-19 pandemic still manifests its blow in different sectors of the economy, housing not exceptional. At the annual general meeting of Uganda Cranes Limited, a loss of 3% was realized, and based on the books of accounts, this is due to the unprecedented COVID-19. Nasiru Wama has details to the losses.
The coronavirus is an unprecedented catastrophe whose effects on the economy and the social lives are yet to be quantified. Real estate and housing sector, like other businesses globally, have been hit.
Our main focus was maintaining production to build inventory and employee safety. Although production was ongoing, there were no sales in the months of April and May. Sales would later pick up after the lockdown was eased.
At the annual general meeting of Uganda Cranes Limited, COVID-19 impacts manifested in the total revenue loss of 3%. This release indicates the company's financial performance of the year 2020.
Revenues for the year were Uganda shillings 29.7 billion, which was a 3% drop compared to 30.7 billion for the previous year, mainly to the negative impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, translating to 1 shilling 35 cents per share for the year ended 31st December 2020. The total dividend represents 25% of the net profit for the year.
The current business slowdown is likely to result into a recession of unprecedented proportions of different affected economies on how to strategize and deal with the current business environment.
Volume increase, innovation, and growth into new products, new markets, and new areas and methods of work.
Due to the pandemic, public capital spending on housing has strongly declined, unlike allowances, which may require a mitigation of short-term social and economic rescue and support measures. Abdul Nasir Lubwama, UBC News.
Yes, we thank you so much for watching. We'll return with business after this very short break. Thank you so much for watching.
We've cut and reduced our MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Century Points when you deposit, send, and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go, MTN.
Fellow Ugandans, you know that the current COVID-19 period is a trying time in our lives. However, we still have another threat that has been with us for a long time, and it is called neglected tropical diseases, also known as NTDs. NTDs include bilharzia and worms that cause swollen stomachs. Trachoma causes blindness, and elephantiasis causes the swelling of legs. These diseases are affecting millions globally, and yet they can be prevented by regular hand washing with soap and clean running water, regular washing of the face face with a soap and clean running water, keeping dirty hands away from your eyes, always using pit latrines and discouraging open defecation in your community to avoid flies that carry germs, reporting to the health facility early when feeling unwell. Remember to stay safe and protect yourself. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from Ascend Project.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field couldn't be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Welcome to Business News Tonight. The National Insurance Corporation has posted its performance for the year 2020, recording a major turnaround of the bottom line from the loss situation it posted in 2019. According to Bayo Folayan, that's the Managing Director, National Insurance Corporation, the company's gross premium income increased by 9% to 22.63 billion shillings from the 20.288 billion shillings in 2019. He adds that while 2020 proved to be one of the most tumultuous years for business globally, National Insurance Corporation Holdings Limited succeeded.
The available incentives towards investment and industrialization are being revised often to induct new local investors in the industrial sector. This is due to the constant outcry from the Ugandan business community over benefits being given to the foreigners than people of Uganda.
The first incentive to you as a Ugandan is we give you the land free of charge. We will give it to you. Whether it is going to be Namanve, or Soroti, or Jinja, Kasese, mentioned in all those zones, you will not have to pay for the land. The government of Uganda will avail this land, will make sure that if you invest in industrial park, you will benefit from electricity of 5 cents. If you invest in that industrial park and you only have put an investment of $300,000 US, you will get a 10-year tax holiday for you as a Ugandan. And this is deliberate. We've given it deliberately for Ugandans to encourage you to come and in the industrial sector.
The increasing attractions intend to create more jobs to the people of Uganda, and in this, the government is targeting to have 25 zonal industrial parks.
For a Ugandan to be able to access this, you must have a clear business plan. If you're just going to come with word of mouth that, oh, I wish to do this and this is how I'm going to do it, it will not work. You have to come up with a clear business plan. You must register your company with Uganda Registration Service Bureau. You must have an investment license. Then there you qualify to get the land.
While the outgoing Director General of the Uganda Investment Authority hand over to the new administrator, some hurdles have been highlighted, which calls for quick response for the sector.
Of the release of funds for the Namanve infrastructure project, and it will be one of the immediate tasks that my brother here will have to take on seriously and make sure those funds are released to the project. We have a challenge of having a fleet of old vehicles.
The new administrator is tasked to enhance technological advancement and widen the scope of accessibility.
Accelerating the government's industrialization agenda very aggressively by operationalizing the industrial parks and promoting import substitution. Is UIA will become corruption-free and continue to be corruption-free. That is not only a short-term goal, that's a cross-cutting theme throughout our tenure here and under my leadership and the leadership of the board.
Prioritizing the needs of domestic investors and micro, small and medium-sized enterprises still remain the epicenter for the industrialization of Uganda's economy. Abdul Nasir, Lubwama, UBC News.
Salt business in Katwe-Kabatoro town council, that is in Kasese district, has gone down as a result of COVID-19 lockdown. The communities dealing in salt mining say the closure of the borders and the inter-district travels in the country has run down the business for over 50%. Our reporter has just returned from Lake Salt in Kasese district, and this is what he has to tell us. We'll give you that story about the salt business in Katwe-Kabatoro, Kasese, in our subsequent bulletins. But moving on, the national football team, that's the Uganda Cranes, are in Saudi Arabia for 2 friendly games with the hosts. A contingent of 35 people, including 25 players and 10 officials, traveled for a training camp fully funded by Saudi Arabia. Based in Riyadh, Uganda Cranes will play 2 games against the Saudi national team, the Falcons, on the 2nd and 5th of July 2021. The training camp will help Uganda Cranes prepare for the forthcoming CECAFA Senior Challenge Camp due mid-July and the FIFA 2022 World Cup Russia qualifiers that kick off in September this year. The team is under the guidance of coach Mole Viekwaso with assistance of Simeon Masaba, while Stephen Bilichigundu is the goalkeeping coach. Enoch Walusimbi of newly declared Uganda Premier League champions Express FC has been appointed the team captain. Others on the team include KCCA goalkeeper Charles Lukwago, Vipers Bobosi Biaruhanga, Saidi Chene, Abdul Watambara, among others. Yes, we wish the Uganda Cranes all the best. And that story brings us to the end of all we had for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Michael Jordan Lukoma with Elizabeth Nakakoni and the whole team. We wish you the best of the night. Bye-bye.